One of the great things about this house is all the light that it gets in the mornings, all day, morning, afternoon, just beautiful tons of light. So even though it's kind of tucked down in here between these other buildings, you still can't see quite as much. So, okay, a couple things to talk about here. The garage, we still haven't gotten someone to pick up this old furniture. It's proving to be kind of difficult. In fact, Maurizio, he had picked up a lot of that construction debris. If you remember, there were like 100 bags of concrete and brick and tile from both bathrooms and all the stuff they trenched out and oh my God, everything. So he's kind of like, I can't do it. I can't do it for that price anymore. It's just, they're charging me too much to drop it off. I'm not making any money. So he's kind of like, I think we're banned. So Paulo's trying to find someone else. There's another guy, but he's super backed up, like 3 months out. So we've got a big pile of stuff in the hallway here. This stuff I'd love to get rid of, so we just have a little more space. And there's no reason for it to be here. It's just in the way. So anyway, but one other thing that's going on in here, if you remember back here, you can see this. Hey, here's the guys showing up this morning. Good morning. Hi. How was your weekend?
Very good.
Good. The concert was good?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good. So yeah, there was the water lines in the wall where they're splitting it and to go up to the apartments. And Dodrick was doing a pressure test. So he pumped up the water lines with air and he heard air leaking and it was losing air pressure. So he realized that inside the wall, which had already been sealed, this fitting here had failed. This fitting right here. So there was air coming out of this bottom part here. So we had to take this back out. And we're going to take this apart, put a new fitting in here, and hopefully everything will be, checked and working. So that's the good thing, though. A good thing that it was found now before we put water in there. Obviously that's the problem. You've got water leaking in the wall, and it's in the wall, so you may not know. It could just be a little bit. So definitely pumping that up, checking the air pressure, making sure everything's good. Usually in a house, you would leave it for 24 hours and make sure it hasn't lost any air pressure at all. It should lose zero because water will get out otherwise. So, so that's one of the ones that was a great catch. And, those things just happen. I mean, there's probably 100 of those connections throughout the house. So you want to make sure they're all good. So, and a lot of them are in the walls, obviously. So that's not an easy fix after the case. So good thing for Derek checking that out. But let's go take a look. We'll head up upstairs a little bit. Take a look in the room over here where Martin has been working. So this is going to be the gym. And if you remember, this wall is that wall that was stone. It's actually like the hillside. They have a hole here for the power. That's what I was just checking. So I want power down on this floor right here. And you can see they drilled a hole. So they just need to cut a hole for the box and put it in there. But this was the big fix here around the window. If you remember, there used to be an old sink here that I had them take out. And then the plaster was really bad around the windows. So Martin has been working on that. So he's got all this plaster built up around here. The concrete. And he put these boards on here to get a nice flat surface, a nice sharp corner. And then on the floor, if you see it here, there was like a step from like right about here back to the wall. But I plan on putting that other sink, that huge sink that was in the first floor bathroom originally. I'm going to put that in here so I have a place to wash my hands down here if I'm working in the garage or whatever, get some water if I'm in the gym here. So, and we wanted to save that huge sink. So they had to build the floor out a little bit. So you can see he put a board here to make that level. And then, so we have nice flat place to put that pedestal sink. And then this is the water line coming in. It's just going to be cold water here. We didn't want to put a water heater in here, but filling up the walls here, and we'll fix that hole in the ceiling where the water line comes down from the kitchen on my level, because the kitchen is directly above here for the IKEA kitchen, the one that'll be in my apartment. So, just kind of building it back like we talked about, and it's really an incredible process. It's great to see. So, yeah, let's see. In here, there was one other thing. Oh, this floor isn't quite level, so we're going to have to, it's kind of sloping back towards this back wall. So we're going to have to build that up a little bit and then put some self-leveling stuff on here. And then we're going to do a snap-down flooring in here. It'd be kind of cool to save this floor. It's like an old brick, cool brick floor, but it's just not level or anything. I mean, you can see it's actually in not too bad a shape. Maybe there is a chance to save it. I don't think so. I think it would just look so much nicer with snap down flooring in here. Some nice laminate flooring, easy. And for the gym, it would be nice. It'll be soft. So, yeah. So, okay. Speaking of water heaters, I have ordered them from Amazon the other day, and I just got one of them right here underneath the guy's stuff. That's going to go in the kitchen, my IKEA kitchen. So, because that's on the opposite side of the house from the bathrooms. So there's water heaters for each bathroom. They're electric water heaters. And I didn't want to run a water line all the way across the house and not have any hot water. So daughter suggested an on-demand little electric water heater. And I read the reviews of tons of them, and they were just all terrible. They just pulled a ton of energy, and they didn't heat the water real well. And it just kind of trickled out. There wasn't a lot of water pressure. If you ran it faster, it wasn't hot. So that was kind of the drawback. Hey, Adam. And so I decided to get a separate one, just a smaller one, and we're going to mount it underneath the sink. So I had to change my IKEA kitchen order right before I ordered it, because it had, I had drawers under the kitchen sink, so there wouldn't be room for the water heater. The water heater is a 13-liter one, I believe. So, that's like, what, 4 gallons, 3 gallons, actually, 4 gallons. Yeah, 4 gallons, 3.5 gallons, let's say. And it's just, it needed, it was like 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. So it was like, it's going to take up a lot of that space under the sink. So there just wasn't room for drawers. So that's okay. I've got tons of drawer space, and even without uppers in that kitchen, that'll be a lot. So yeah, we got that. The other 2 are coming today, in fact. So that's really great. And a funny story about Amazon. So it was Sunday yesterday when it was delivered, and I get a phone call, I don't know, like 12 o'clock, and I'm sitting over at the apartment, and he's like, "Hey, this is Amazon. I can't deliver your package. The doors are all locked." And I was like, "Oh man, okay, I'll be there in 2 minutes." He's like, "Okay, 2 minutes." So I put on some shoes and run over here, and the guy jumps out, and he's laughing and smiling. He's like, I didn't know if you're gonna be here. And the garage was locked, because I have a note on the door that says put it in the garage. Because if they come during the day and the guys are working, and they can't find someone, the door is unlocked during the day, so they can just lift the door up and slide it inside here if the front door is closed. So he's like, "Yeah, I couldn't get in." I was like, "Oh, sorry." And he was so nice. It was incredibly friendly. I mean, here's a guy working on Sunday, and he's just, happy as can be. No problem. Just is like a long lost friend. So funny. And then as I was walking back to the apartment, I'm kind of like looking at the ground. I don't know why. And I almost bumped into this old guy. There's this little short old guy. He's wearing a sport coat. He's got a little hat on. And I kind of looked up and kind of was startled, and he laughed, and I put my hand out to shake his hand and said "Salve," greetings, and he grabbed my hand with both his hands and shook my hand and laughed, and big smile on his face. And it's just a thing. People are just so friendly here and just so happy and content, it seems. So okay, well, let's take a look upstairs, because I've got 2 really super exciting things to show you today. All right, so I'm up on the 2nd floor apartment, 3rd floor in American terms, but 2nd floor above ground. And this is the kitchen. So if you remember, Sylvia was in here painting last week. He was getting everything ready. And look at this beautiful, nice, clean transition between the blue here, blue-gray on the walls, and the white on the ceilings. Just really looks great around the window. I love how they do this. So leave the blue color on the wall, and then go up around the window on the top and back down. And he did that on both windows, and it just has this really, really beautiful look. And the transition line is really where, if you look up here, you see this curve from the ceiling, the curve of the ceiling coming down, where it gets flat. That's kind of where he decided to do the transition. And I just love it. Wow, it looks so cool. That white paint, like here, take a look. Well, you can just see it all over when you look. So that's really cool. But the reason he was getting all this painting done is because of this. Check that out. So there's my new kitchen. Wow. Really, really cool. I mean, it was incredible. Here, I shot a time lapse. I put a short up. I think maybe you've seen that, but here's a time lapse of the guys working. So this is a company called Mondo Convenienza. You can kind of see it here on the invoice. Maybe I'll put their logo up here. And they sell furniture, kitchens, everything. I mentioned it in a previous invoice, but you kind of basically just say how big a kitchen you want, like measure the wall. I think this one was 255 centimeters. So like, that would be 10 feet, I think. 2.54 centimeters per inch. Sorry, yeah, a little bit more. We'll see. I'll put it up on the screen. My brain isn't working this morning. I only had one coffee. So anyway, you just say how long it is, and then they have a kitchen. And it's like, pick the color of it. And there's 2 lines of appliances. You can get like the lower end line, which I did just because it's a rental. I don't think it's going to be used a lot. Or pay a little bit more. There's an Italian company called Candy that's been around forever. I think they were recently, within the last 5 years or 10 years, bought by a Chinese company. But anyway, they're pretty well respected. Candy, C-A-N-D-Y, just how you think. And I didn't get those. They were a little more expensive. And then I didn't get a dishwasher because, check this out. So this kitchen, so there's a refrigerator in the tower over here. Well, let's just go look. I'll give you a quick tour of the kitchen. So there's a built-in refrigerator with a freezer, inductive cooktop, oven, and that's not pushed all the way in right now. We had it out because we have to hook up the power and stuff behind. The exhaust fan, cabinets, and this is a cool thing in Italy. These are pretty common. I've seen them here. It's just a drying rack for your dishes right over the sink. So it's got a plastic tray in here to catch water, but you could take that out if you want. But you just wash your dishes and just sit them up here in the rack, and they just drip down, drip dry. And so it's really, really super cool, really practical. And then I have to buy a faucet too. It didn't include a faucet. And and just a standard cabinet under here. It doesn't have anything. But it has like a metal tray down there, I guess, in case some water drips from the sink or something. But this entire kitchen, including appliances, delivered and installed for like 1,200 euros. It's incredible. Let me see, I got the invoice right here. What was the total price? 1,229 euros and 50 cents. Incredible. So those 4 guys showed up here. They scrubbed or put this thing in like an hour. They were working and super, super nice. And like most everyone, they ask, "Hey, where are you from? Are you British?" And I said, "No, I'm American." And they're like, "American? What are you doing here?" That's the number one question, every single person. Italian. These guys were actually Romanian and Pakistani. But it's always the number one question, like, why would you leave America? Why would you leave? And, it's kind of a difficult question to explain, to some people, but it's the number one first question every single person asks. So, and then I say, well, look here, it's so beautiful. And they're like, oh yeah, that's true. They accept it right away. There's no big issue with it. But so the kitchen, that was a big one. That's pretty exciting. So this room is kind of getting pretty close to done. We need to do baseboard trim around here, obviously clean it up. A new light fixture. I was teasing Paolo about this. This thing, take a look at this. I don't know, some fruit or something like that. And then this like kind of brass top up there. And I was telling Paolo's Italian, design, and he's been in marketing forever. And I was like, what do you think about that? And he's just silent, just doesn't say anything. And then he's like, I don't know about your American taste. I'm not going to say anything. So I started laughing. I'm like, well, you can use it. If you want it, you can take and use it in one of your properties. And yeah, he wasn't interested. So, okay. So I told you there were 2 things that I wanted to show you today. This is one. Let's go up. I'm going to show you the second. Okay. So as you can see, we're up in the attic. And this pile of material might give you a little hint. And the stuff over here behind me, back behind me, might give you a little hint of what I'm about to show you. So Let's crawl up the staircase. I mean ladder. There's still just a ladder here. But this one I'm super, super excited about. Take a look at the rooftop terrace. Wow, beautiful morning sunlight. What a great place to come up here for breakfast or coffee and take a look at that view. Wow, there's my shadow. Yeah. Oh, you can see the mountains. Check out the Alps over there. I'll try and zoom in on the video for you. But you can see the sun just hitting the tops of the Alps. They're all snow covered still. Yeah. Wow. So check out this rooftop terrace. I'm going to spin around here um, so I'm not getting the sun in my face, but look at this. If you remember, just past the door over here, there was a structure covering that whole part of the roof. And it on the original floor plans for the house, it shows this as a terrace. So my goal was to reclaim that, but I didn't really know what was underneath. This is that office is right below here, and there was a little bit of water in there. So yeah, I think it was last week on Thursday, I was working with Paolo, Silvio, our painter. I got a story about Silvio too. And Paolo's girlfriend from Valencia, Spain, she was here. Carmen, really, really, really nice, sweet. She's worked in kind of the design industry as well, and has a good sensibility with design. So she was helping out with the paint colors, which we picked, which are awesome. And that's, I'll talk about that in another episode. But we were down there working and picking paint colors, and I hadn't heard the guys working for a while. Usually there's hammer and saws or something going on. And I said, where are the guys? And Paulo's like, they're up on the roof. I was like, oh man, I got to get up there. I want to see what they're doing. So I came up here and they had already cleared the whole roof. They were sealing the joints. So this is a brand new layer. This roof, this material is all brand new. So on the old layer, they cleaned it up. They sealed it all with tar, put down this whole nother layer of fabric, sealed all this, fixed everything around the edges, cleared out the gutters. They did a nice little fix right here because this house from a neighbor's house, actually, here, I'll just show you. So this is a neighbor's house, and their gutter down here was kind of not working real well. And then there was a gap between their gutter and this little gutter. So if there was too much rain, it would go up over and between the houses and down the wall. So over time, there'd be water damage. So Dardic filled this whole thing all the way across here. You can see it goes all the way out here. Filled it with some spray foam and then put tar down in there and sealed it, and then put the tar fabric over the top of it. So now if the water comes off the roof and it's too much and it comes up, it'll come into my gutter or vice versa. But you can really see how nicely that worked out. And then all the way down here, and then here, this clay tile just fell off the roof, or maybe they were using it to weight it down, but then into the gutter here. So, and then that's the downspout right here, and that goes down all the way out. So really, really great. You know, and I really like that. I respected a lot about Doddark. He's not just doing the bare minimum. He sees something that needs to be addressed and he conquers it. He wants to do it. He's like, we got to do this right. Like the kitchen. Those guys delivered that kitchen, installed it, and he came in when it was done. And the first thing he's done, he's looking at it, he's like, no, these doors don't line up. The gap's too big in between these doors. And he's like, it's easy. We can just adjust it with the hinges. He's like, but they should have done a better job. So he has a really high attention to detail, which I respect. I mean, that's incredible. So it makes me feel really good about the work that's being done on my house too, because not just, that kitchen, he happened to look at it, immediately saw these things, but everything he wants to have it done right, so that's really good. Like checking that, pressurizing the water lines, make sure those work. Of course, that should always be done, but it's nice to know it's being done. So yeah. So now what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to get some pavers, but not directly on this material. So there's a system where they have these feet at each corner, and all four of the pavers will go on the feet. And so it's off the ground. You can get different size ones. It's off the ground, and then there's a gap between the tiles. So when it rains, the water can go between and roll off the roof into the gutters. But then those pavers protect this rubber roof. It's not going to be in the sunlight. You're not going to be walking right on it. And then the little rubber feet, I have a big foot, I presume, that so they don't damage the rubber mat here, or there's something we can put under them. But yeah, so that's the plan for this whole terrace. So actually today, that's part of one of my jobs, is to look at that and price it. And hopefully we can go pick it up soon. I'd love to get that up here. And then we need a new door. This door is pretty pretty janky down here. And then just one more thing too, the skylight. So they sealed this skylight up really nicely. They put a bunch of tar all the way around it, and sealed it up. And they said it's quite strong. You can walk on it, you can stand on it if you want. It's concrete, it's thick. But I said, you know what? I said, we need to get a cover. We need to get something, like even just a piece of plexiglass to keep the rain out of here. Because when it rains, that's just going to fill up with water, and there's nowhere for that water to go. There's no drain. It would just sit in there. So I'm like, no, we need to get that covered, because otherwise that's just going to leak over time, down through here. This is where it was leaking before. You could see the damaged roof inside. I think it was actually leaking from the outside, but it could very well have been from in here, because you can see there's a depression right here along where this rim is. So yeah, I mean, okay, so Dodrick figured out this gutter and said, we got to fix that. But then he didn't seem to have any problem with water just sitting in there. So, you just got to be here. And between all of you, all of your ideas, hopefully you get everything kind of taken care of. And of course, there's going to be things that get missed. There's no question about it. It just happens. You just have to accept it. But the more minds you have on the task, and the more you talk about it and, talk things over, the more you come up with solutions that are going to work. So hopefully work. But, you'd want to prevent that thing from happening for sure, that water from sitting in there. So that's a big one. But yeah, let's just take a look. So the other thing we need to get is a railing on the end here, because you'll see, I'll give you with the selfie stick here. I'll reach over the edge. I'm not going to go all the way over there, but you can see there's my front door and the garage. So yeah, that's a little ways down. So we definitely need a railing here. So right along this edge here will be a metal railing. And I asked Paulo, I said, hey, do you know someone that might have like an old antique railing or something that we can reuse here? He's like, I'll ask around. I might know someone. So we'll see. That would be nice. Also, obviously, we'll take down this antenna. In the age of internet, you don't need an antenna. Everything's streaming anyway. So I'll take all those antennas off. I might just do that myself today. I might leave the pole there though, because the internet for the house is going to be over air. So there's like an antenna they put up here and then run it down through the house and route it around. So I think I might need to leave that pole there, because it's really the only good place to mount it. And I guess we could do it on the back of this door, maybe find a way to mount it up over there. And so this isn't blocking the view. So I'll talk with Dodrick about that. He probably has a simple solution, but we don't really need this huge mast just for one antenna. I mean, I think the antenna is probably like the size of a shoebox cover or smaller. So yeah, we'll take that down, get some of the view back, and wow. Oh, you can see the Apennine Mountains really clear back over here today too, relatively clear. Those are usually snow-capped as well. I think I see a little bit of snow over there still. But yeah, this is a place I'm really looking forward to using a lot. Because my place, I have a little balcony off my living room and bedroom on the first floor. There's one on the second floor, which is kind of strangely out of the bathroom, but still there's a place you could get outside. But other than that, you have to go downstairs and go outside. So to be able to just come up here and not only just enjoy the open air, but to have that view, and this is west, so sunsets are incredible, as you've maybe seen. You get the swallows that come right around sunset. They come circling around the buildings. Really, really fun. That's just a little small group of about a dozen of them cruising around. But yeah, so this is one of the biggest ones that when this happened, when I got up here and I looked and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is what this was one of the big reasons I bought this place. There were two big, huge reasons. The original floor tiles, which I really loved, and then the possibility of splitting it into a rental, which was the one that kind of justified buying such a big place. Obviously, I didn't need this big of a house, nor did I want one, honestly, until the price came down and then some other options came up. But when this terrace, when I came up here and saw this, I was like, yeah, that's a view I don't think I'm going to get sick of. And it's spectacular. Yeah, really nice. So I said I had a quick story about Silvio. So Silvio's a painter. So I come in here one day last week and he's got music playing on his phone, and it's opera. So he says to me, he's like, Mike, do you like opera? I said, sure, I like opera. It's nice. I don't know much about it, but I like it. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, very long history, you know, and very passionate. And so I was like, yeah, cool. So, and he's like, I'm a singer. I said, what? He's like, yeah, I'm an opera singer. And I'm singing in Milan next weekend. So this was a couple weeks ago, actually. And I was like, that's incredible. Wow, that's really cool. So as it got closer, this last Saturday was when he sang. And Paolo and Darek and Martin and Paolo's girlfriend went to Milan to see the show. And at some point, someone asked me if I wanted to go. And I said, yeah, maybe, you know, which is kind of American for no. So um, I started thinking about it later, and I was like, oh, why wouldn't I have gone? Why didn't I go? Silvio, who's a beautiful person, really nice, working here in my house, he's got a super exciting concert in Milan, and it's a chance for me to go there and see this and know one of the opera singers. And it was just one of those things where, you know, my initial reaction was no, maybe I was a little uncomfortable, or maybe I'd be a little nervous, but you know, I'm living in a foreign country, right? I mean, I've traveled all around the world. I run into that all the time. And it's just sometimes it's a little bit intimidating, a little bit, I don't know, daunting. It's just, I don't know. There's really no good reason, just other than sometimes you just, I don't know, just don't feel the, I don't know even the word for it, but just in the moment, I just kind of didn't feel like I wanted to do it. But then actually on Friday afternoon or Saturday afternoon, I went for coffee with the guys, and they said they were going, and Dodrick said, yeah, there's only room in my car for 4. That's why Adam's not going. And then I kind of thought, oh shoot, they don't have room for me anyway. Although Paolo has a separate car, so I guess could have taken 2 cars, or I could have ridden the motorcycle there. But anyway, long story short, I didn't go. And then there is definitely some regret that I didn't go. I should have absolutely gone. But, you know, next time, if there is a chance, for sure, I'm not going to miss it. And there's already been some incredible experiences too. And I ended up actually meeting up with another expat here that I've met through the YouTube channel that lives in Casorso, which is like, I think that town right over there. And then there's in this little town right over here, there's a really cool cocktail bar. So I met him there for an aperitif on Saturday. And that was really fun. Great little town. 2 brothers own it, 2 Italian guys, super nice. Met several other people over there. So I did have a, you know, cultural experience. I did meet people, and it was just, you know, it was all Italians hanging out there. There was Fitzy, who's from Australia, and then myself. And so I think we were pretty much the only expats or foreigners there, and it was just all Italians, and everyone was having a good time. And there was a wedding party there that was having cocktails. And so it was just a great experience too. And, you know, literally it's this hill town right here. And then this hill town over here, this Fitzy said that has a really nice pub, and there's a good restaurant there. And so, I mean, all these little hill towns. And then I was over here with Martin and his wife. There's a castle in that town, and they have a really nice little cocktail bar there as well. And yeah, so I mean, and restaurants in these little towns are great. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible. I mean, and I'm just looking, if you can barely see, but down here in this field, these little white specks, I suspect those are sheep. Just sheep out there grazing. This is a vineyard right over here. This is where they process their wine, and they have a store that's open 7 days a week. They sell organic food as well, organic vegetables and stuff. Yeah, so I'm just kind of getting to know the area, and getting to know all that it has to offer. And it's pretty incredible. It's really, really special. So anyway, so that's all for today, you guys. I'm glad I got to share with you those 2 things that were huge, huge, huge. The kitchen down on the 2nd floor for the rental, and then this terrace. So if you need me to review that again, or to just summarize the 2 things, it was the kitchen and the terrace. I think I've said it like 10 times now. So, okay, if you like my content, please click on the thumbs up, give me a little like. If you have not subscribed for my channel yet, please click on the subscribe button, and then click on the little bell so you get notifications, because I'm also uploading shorts. So every Friday I release full video, but I also have been doing shorts as little things come up. So I did a short about the 2,000 subscribers, by the way, thanks again for that. I did a little short about the kitchen, a little animated short. Actually, that's not in the short feed because I did it horizontal. The vertical format is what you need for the shorts. So maybe I'll redo that in vertical and post it there. But you saw the animation already in this video today. And yeah, so you'll get notifications for all those things that go up as well, just even little shorts. So click on that bell. And once again, just thanks so much for following. Thanks for all your comments. And thanks for all the positive energy. I really appreciate it.